If you're not familiar, basically a famous YouTube gamer named JonTron went on a stream with another YouTuber called Destiny and said some talking points in defense of ethno-nationalist ideals.
First of all, T, out of all of this, these were not just ethno-nationalist ideals. These were Nazi ideals, okay? They are hateful ideals that ignore the individual. They focus on the collective, and they do not realize that we're all equal individual human beings. They treat us as a collective, and of course that is the height of irrationality. It's even more surprising that a black person, a black man, would be espousing and not being in utter recall at these ideas, given that these ideas are the things that would have him killed in their society. He would be forcefully driven out. He would not be able to do anything. He would be absolutely killed in their country, and he doesn't even realize that. It shows you how far gone that guy T is. He is essentially an Uncle Tom. He does not care about his own people and is instead willing to put someone else's ideals above his own interest and his own group's interest.
I don't want to be the one to say this, but some of the things he said weren't necessarily racist, but the way he used the things could subtly be construed as being somewhat racist. I don't know if I agree. I'm just saying that he's going to get those kinds of criticisms, let's be honest.
Okay, Exhibit A. I know Greg wants his character to be this super skeptical figure with no convictions or beliefs. He's confirmed this to me on Twitter, and I understand it. It makes sense for, the armored skeptic character, animated character, I get it. But it seems like he's intentionally avoiding it. Let's play the clip again.
From what that guy T is saying here, it can be construed that he is poking fun at the idea that people do not want to take a position. Because ultimately, yes, taking a position can be an extremist action, almost always is an extremist action, to believe in something. And he's making fun of Greg for doing that, despite clearly taking a position himself and being not the most skeptical of people. Now, he's also trying to defend the fact that JonTron was being racist. JonTron was clearly being racist, someone who would hate that guy T. And he was making fun of Armored Skeptic for not agreeing with JonTron, for not wanting JonTron to have said those things. But there, Armored Skeptic is also taking a position where, as we can clearly tell, he is being an anti-racist, which is just as bad as being racist. They are both equally as bad things, because they remove the center position. They remove the we view all sides equally and we have no preconceived notions. And that is the first sign of extremism.
Then he goes on to say that he doesn't know if he agrees with those people or not. Really? Simple. Do you think what he said was racist or not? If yes, say yes. If no, say no. But to say that you don't know, especially after researching enough about this topic for a 40-minute video, you still can't come to a position on whether you thought his statements were racist or not? Let's just say I'm pretty skeptical of that.
Again here, that guy T is making the fallacy that people have to take position on things. That the only way to have thoughts is to take position on things. But this is always a first sign of extremism. Extremism starts from people forcing positions on you that you're not necessarily comfortable with. And it's understandable that fellow skeptics would not be comfortable taking positions, because positions can lead to radical actions and several forms of extremism. Now, that guy T here also makes another assumption, that even though Armored Skeptic did a lot of research into this topic, that he should have to make a decision. No one should have to make a position. No one should be forced into taking a position merely because they're researching something. That is a sign of fascist action. That's something only a fascist would do. And to say that T is being skeptical of that just shows the height of his irrationality. He's not being skeptical of anything. He's taking positions and forgetting about the middle ground and the other side. And that is the first sign of fascist extremism.
But one thing he said that really stuck out to me, and he said this on Sargon's stream too.
The only reason that I'm maybe on a quote-unquote side is because in this day and age, staying on the fence is just useless, because everybody knows that you're just trying to avoid conflict at that point because we are in very polarized times. So I just like to at least state my opinion clearly.
Obviously, being neutral or moderate isn't useful. That's a kind of a redundant thing to say.
Now, in this statement, there are multiple points of irrationality. First, coming from Johnson, in the fact that choosing a side is the only way to go because not choosing one would be pointless. Now, of course, he forgets that the people who don't choose sides are the ones that make society better. They're the ones that further advancement of things. Without criticism of things, people would get nowhere. They'd just go on doing terrible things. That's why religion got so far, because no one wanted to criticize it. Now, another point here is that Armored Skeptic agreed with this. He calls himself a skeptic, and yes, he agrees with something as irrational as this. As irrational as saying that, oh yeah, no, we can't criticize anything, because that would stop progress. These people are the height of irrationality, and for him to call himself a skeptic is a joke. And for him to support Johnson is a joke, as well as for that guy T to essentially agree with him on this point is the height of irrationality, especially for a black man. These people need to learn how to be rational, because otherwise they will never know how to do things correctly. That is all I can deal with for today. Thank you for watching another episode of the Skeptic Tomato X5.